Welcome to my channel. I'm Jenny with theforestdaisy. I create crafts and home decor. In this video, I have some spring DIYs and thrift flips. Please like the video and also subscribe to my channel for more crafting. I found two of these mini wooden cutting board or charcuterie board decorations in the clearance section at Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago and decided to finally do something with them. I used a few pieces of these wood planks that were also from Hobby Lobby and then a wooden dowel. Since they were made out of different wood, the colors didn't match up, so I painted all of them with Waverly Black chalk paint. I just did one coat of paint on everything. I put a line of hot glue on the end of one of the planks and put one of the cutting boards down and did the same with the other one. The cutting boards have the word E engraved in them, so I made sure to have that side facing inward so that it wasn't visible on the outside of the planter. And then I attached the second plank on the other side of the boards. Then I lined up the dowel and figured out where I should cut it so that it would fit in between the openings and the top of the cutting boards. I cut that down and also painted it black. Then placed it inside to be used as the handle for the planter box. And I ended up putting a third plank on the bottom so that I could put something inside and it wouldn't just be an open space. So I glued a small piece of floral foam inside and began added pieces of greenery and flowers. I believe I got all of this at Dollar Tree a few years ago and kept adding in pieces until it was full. I had a set of these thrifted jars and wanted to do something simple with them. I cleaned all of the jars with rubbing alcohol and a paper towel to remove any dirt and debris, and also wipe down the holder. I always like to clean thrifted items before I use them, and it also helps to have a clean surface when painting. So I painted all three jars with a few coats of white chalk paint and used my heat gun in between each coat so that it would speed up the drying process. When they were dry, I coated them with Mod Podge to seal them, and then I cut some sprigs of this greenery that I got at Walmart and put two pieces inside of each jar. This bundle of signs was also thrifted. I grabbed one of the signs and cleaned off the surface. I also painted over it with white chalk paint. I probably could have sanded off the image on the front, but I was able to cover it up with a few coats of paint. Then I took an old Christmas craft that I had and removed the ribbon from the wooden crate and used my heat gun to heat the vinyl letters so that I could easily scrape them off. I kept the crate that green color and glued it at the bottom of the sign, then put in a piece of floral foam and added in flowers and greenery that I got from Walmart and Dollar Tree. I ended up cutting down the greenery a bit so that it was more of an even height with the flowers. I painted this wooden home cutout in a desert tan color, and I glued that onto the sign above the crate. I thrifted this watering can a few years ago and had spray painted it blue. The paint has been chipping off, so I repainted it and covered it with two coats of white chalk paint. I also painted the inside, but I wasn't too concerned with full coverage since it would be hidden. I also brushed some antique wax around the watering can to give it a rustic weathered look and used a paper towel to blend it in and remove some of the excess. I had these wooden flower cutouts in my craft stash. These came in a pack that I got at Dollar Tree. I glued a white button in the center of each of them, then glued wooden skewers on the backside to make a pick. I cut the skewers down so they would fit inside of the watering can, and I ended up making a third one as well. I put in a pick of boxwood greenery that I got off of Amazon and added in those flowers. I found this sign at Goodwill. After I removed the sticker, I repainted the sides with white paint. Since the sign was already gray, I just painted over it with gray chalk paint to cover up the words. I dry brushed some of the white paint on top of the gray to give it a distressed look. I glued on a mini grapevine wreath that I got at Hobby Lobby. I hot glued a bit of Spanish moss onto the grapevine to make it look like a bird's nest, and I already had a few wood beads that I had previously painted that I thought would work as eggs, so I put those onto the nest as well. For this craft, I took apart two different sized embroidery hoops. I placed the smaller piece inside of the bigger one and attached them together with zip ties. I had some more greenery that I got from Dollar Tree in the past and wrapped wire around the stems to make two bundles. I wrapped the rest of the wire around the embroidery hoops to attach the greenery, then used a smaller piece of floral wire to secure the greenery up the side of the hoop. I have this cute floral print ribbon that I found at a garage sale or a thrift store. I made a bow with that ribbon and secured it with jute string. I cut a small piece of the ribbon and glued it around the middle so that it would cover up the string. Then I tied the bow onto the hoop in between the greenery bundles and also put hot glue underneath the ribbon so that it wouldn't slide around. I purchased this twig bird's nest a few years ago. I want to say that I got it at Joann's. I had it decorated already, but wanted to do something different, so I hot glued moss along one side of the nest. I had random pieces of greenery that I removed from a wreath, and I hot glued those into the moss. I also glued in an assortment of different colored greenery and pieces of lavender, and I made a little hanger with jute string and I tied that onto the back of the nest in between some pieces of the twigs. I have also had this wall pocket hanger for a few years, and for a simple makeover, I added in some moss that I got from Walmart and then hot glued sprigs of faux lavender inside of that. This last project is also really simple. I thrifted this teapot, and all I did was take some fake tulips, bent the stems a little so they would fit inside, and then made a quick arrangement. Thank you for watching.